both cried.
Yes.
Yeah, it's sad for us. I'm glad you cried. I'm glad I made you cry.
Did you cry?
I think when I I saw it being made, and there were moments of it that made me pretty emotional. My parents, when they saw it for the first time, both cried. A lot of people cry. There's not the whole, you won't cry the whole time, but there's definitely parts that can get are good, are moving, and so yeah.
It was a good mix of funny and sad.
Thank you.
Everything. So in the beginning, what kind of movie did you think it was going to be?
It wasn't good. There wasn't going to be any movie at all. When he came on tour, my brother was just supposed to be, part of the road crew, I did encourage him to bring his camera, but just so he could make some maybe DVD or little videos for our website or just like web content. But it wasn't until well after he was fired, and then he moved in with my wife and I, and then they started looking at stuff, and when Tom's story started to kind of like be obviously the most interesting thing, that's when they thought, well, maybe we can make this into a real movie. And so it was very late, so nobody thought there was going to be a movie. So the whole thing was a surprise. Yeah.
So everything that we see is real. It's never like a manuscript from the beginning.
There were a couple of things we had to kind of recreate. There are a couple of things that are taken out of context. There's definitely like one spot that makes you think you're in London, but it was actually Canada, and stuff like that. But that was, he didn't have his footage from the tour and stuff. It's just so much garbage, and then the movie being about him didn't happen till evolve into that till much later. So there were like just little bits that like, oh well, he had to recreate little thing like Intervju or something like that. But it's not a satire or whatever. It's not a mockumentary at all. But some people have thought it might be, but it's definitely not.
Yeah. So how did you react when you saw everything and saw yourself?
I was mostly just so happy that he finished, and I was actually so happy that my wife had such a major role in it. She basically sat behind him and helped him edit the whole thing, and I was just. But then when I saw the thing, it turned out to be a much more interesting and significant movie than I thought they could do, so I was really very happy. Even though there are some unflattering things of me and everybody, I think it's the right kind of movie for our band, for sure.
Yeah. When I saw it and when I thought about meeting you today, I was almost a little afraid.
Because of my temper?
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, especially around touring and when you've been on the road for a while, you turn into a little bit of a monster in some ways, and I think it's just because of sleeplessness and anxiety and all that kind of stuff, so you get to see me not being as chilled out as I would hope that I come across, which is not true, but I never worry about that. I mean, people have seen our shows, they know I'm not a chilled out person, they know I lose my mind, but I'm not a mean person. I might be tightly wound, but I think I'm underneath that tension. I'm actually, I think, a nice person. I hope.
Yeah. And in the first place, why did you take your brother with you on that tour?
He was back in Cincinnati living with my parents, and I missed him, but he also needed a job because he was a little kid when I went off to college. And then he went off and did his own thing, and we hadn't been really together very much for a long time. So mostly because I missed him. The other guys have their brothers around, and it was great actually having him. I loved having him on tour, even though it ended up going badly after a while. But it wasn't. I still liked having him around, and I was bummed out when he got fired. I didn't fire him. He was fired by our tour manager, who's right it was to fire him, but Yeah, the whole thing. I loved having him around. Yeah.
Is he with you now in this story?
No, no. He still lives with me though. He's actually back with my wife and family and working on some other stuff and yeah, he got out of the road business. Yeah.
Do you think he's gonna be a big movie director someday?
Nope. And I don't think he does either. I don't think that's what he. I mean, maybe, who knows? But I mean, if you watch the film, it's a great film, but he's not a documentary filmmaker. Maybe he would pick up and do one of his horror movie type of things, but I don't even know if he's that interested in that. He's actually been taking more acting classes and all that kind of stuff. So I think he could be a brilliant actor, but I don't know if he. I don't know. He might prove me wrong, but I don't know if he's actually directing movies is really what his calling is. If you've seen the movie, you'll know. You'll kind of know what I mean.
Yes. I thought, like they said in the movie, you're a band of brothers. Except for you, you're without a brother. But the other ones, do they fight a lot?
They bicker a little bit, but they don't fight, or at least I don't really see them fighting that much. No, my brother and I fight a lot more than the other brothers fight. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay.